How did I regrow my hairline and temples in less than 12 months? And here's a picture of me before, and here's a picture of me after. And as you can see, my temples and hairline have fully recovered. So how do I do it? In today's video, I will share basically my structure, my treatment, what I do for growth stimulation. I will share also practical tips, my routine, and also how you can avoid mistakes that I did previously that led that I was losing gains in terms of having hair thinning in my temples and hairline. And for you guys who are new to the channel, my name is Alex, and I'm previously hair loss sufferer who is able to regrow back my own hair, and I'm also certified trichologist. So today's video, I'm going to talk about growth stimulation and how I was able to recover my hair in less than 12 months. And basically, when it comes to growth stimulation, I do use a growth stimulant minoxidil. So this is a growth stimulant I use 5% minoxidil, and I do it in conjunction with microneedling. And I will talk more about practical part later on in this video, but I want to start with my timeline. So basically what happened is that I have been able to gain back my hairline and temples several times, not just one time, but several times. And why it is important to know is that growth stimulant will work. It will stay effective. It will help to reactivate the follicles as long as you find out what is causing your hair to fall out. And basically what happened for me is that I had like a severe hair loss in my early 20s, and then what happened is that around a very long time ago now, what happened is that I got a prescription for finasteride. I started to basically address my lifestyle, my diet, and what happened is that I was able to gain back my hair in 2010, like I had a nice recovery. And then what happened is that 2011 I had a scalp inflammatory problems, I had a gut problems, and some dermatitis as well on my scalp. And basically what happened is that I started to lose most of my gains that I had gained back in those 2 years, and I was dealing with those problems for around 1.5 to 2 years. So basically what happened is that I was not able to start with growth stimulation itself, in my case minoxidil, until around April 2013. So 2013 was when I started with growth stimulation. And what I did is that I started with microneedling and minoxidil application, and I was able to basically have a very nice recovery in around 12 months. And here is basically pictures of me from that time. You can see how nicely I was able to improve my hair and my hair situation. And what happened next is that I had a great results for a while, but then as time went by, I ended up in a situation where I had overstimulated my scalp because I didn't know how much I would need to do, for example, microneedling, how often, how frequently. I didn't know how much minoxidil I should apply, and basically what happened is that I was applying too much minoxidil in my scalp. I didn't know that I could reduce, for example, applied amount of minoxidil. I didn't know that I need to take a break from microneedling because I just was doing it continuously. And what happened is that I started to lose my gains again. Like my scalp got kind of irritated. My scalp also got very unbalanced in terms of dryness, flakiness, and also what happened is that like I had a lot of hair shedding, right? And I started to kind of lose my gains in those that time. And what happened next is that basically I kind of desperation stopped with all treatment, started to address my scalp health again because I had gained a lot of knowledge about scalp and scalp balance basically because of scalp inflammatory problems I had before. So I started to address those problems, and I was able to balance up my scalp. I was able to restart with microneedling and minoxidil application, and a couple of months later again I was able to regain back my hairline and my temples, and it was basically full recovery. And it continued for a while as well, but then I got some issues in terms of some dermatitis in my scalp because again I was not careful enough, and that led to I had a couple of setbacks back in 2017. And then when I addressed those problems, I was able to once again recover my hair, and that recovery continued again for about a year. But then what happened is that I had some stressful situations in my life. I was working basically 2 jobs. I was not sleeping enough. I was not able to manage stress well during that time, and that led to some shedding. And then I had to take some medication that also led to shedding. And basically, I had some ups and downs in 2018. But then I was able to recover from those problems, and again, growth stimulant was working very well because I had a full recovery in 2019. And that progress continued, but then what happened in 2020 is that I was not able to get a prescription for finasteride, and because of it, I was ending up taking a finasteride that was expired, and it didn't work well for me. Like I was likely not having that effect on the DHT because I started to thin out again around middle of 2020, and that continued again for a couple of months before I understood what was the problem. And I got a new prescription for finasteride, and I was able to regain back my hair once again. And the tree again continued for a while, but then in summer months of 2023, what happened is that I started to lose gains again because I was applying minoxidil that was bought from eBay, and it was not working for me. Either it was broken or something had happened to those minoxidil bottles, but they were not working for me, and I had quite a lot of hair shedding during summer months of 2023 before I got back to my previous supplier minoxidil and able to recover my hair once again. And you can check a couple of previous videos that I made during that time where I talk about my experience. I talk about what happened during that time, and you can find them in my channel as well. But basically, what my point here is, guys, is that to show you that it is possible to keep growth stimulants effective long term. Like, the only thing you need to basically understand and implement and address is to find out what is causing your hair to fall out. Also find out, making sure that you address that problem, and then continue with growth stimulation, right? That's how simple it is. And if you need more practical guidance for it, or the right steps for it, then you can check the link for Rapid Regrow Formal Workbook, where I have added all the essentials you actually need to recover your own hair. So in terms of practical part of the treatment, so when it comes to how I do it, is that I basically apply minoxidil after microneedling. So I would do microneedling a couple times a week. In my case, I usually do it 3 to 5 times a week, and then I would apply minoxidil, because with microneedling I do it very lightly. I don't push down derma rollers that I use. I just roll it lightly over my scalp, and then I apply minoxidil. And if you are, for example, using a wounding or more harsh technique in terms of microneedling, then of course you need to be much more careful, because that would basically make minoxidil to absorb too much, and that can be a problem, right? So in that case, maybe or likely you need to take much longer break from minoxidil on microneedling. There has to be a longer space. But for me, if I do it just lightly on my scalp without any pressure, then applying minoxidil right away afterwards is not a problem. And I would apply minoxidil once a day. Right, that's basically my approach to it, and I use a regular formulation at 5%, like 5%. When the hair follicles have been inactive for a long time, then it likely would require a stronger formulation to reactivate them. And in that case, it could be possible to use, for example, a stronger percentage of minoxidil. And when it comes to minoxidil and basically keeping it effective, like, what is important is that also you kind of look at this problem from a bigger perspective, right? So it's not just about growth stimulation, but you also have to address those other factors, right? So basically, for me, what happened is that, for example, if the scalp got out of balance, then minoxidil would become less effective. If, for example, I did something wrong in terms of DHT blockers, or something caused me that I had a higher DHT sensitivity, or something affected my hair cycle, such as lack of sleep or stress, for example, it also did cause that I was losing gains again, and minoxidil was not working, right? So it is very important that you are aware of those factors, because if you want to keep medications such as minoxidil and also finasteride, by the way, effective for a long time, you have to be aware of other variables that can affect its effectiveness. And if you are not aware of them, then basically what can happen is that you can start to lose gains again. And the usual approach to those problems is basically making treatment an approach more aggressive, right? So instead of, let's say, applying 5% minoxidil, step it up to 7% minoxidil. And in case of taking, for example, finasteride, taking dutasteride, right? So basically making treatment more extreme. But from my experience and my understanding and results I have been able to gain for myself and basically for guys in my program, for example, is that it is important with addressing the underlying cause of the hair loss, right? So you have to figure it out, what is making the treatment is not working, what is blocking its effectiveness, and let's say, for example, if you have had the results from treatment, you need to find, and suddenly you start to lose gains again, basically you need to find out why it is happening, right? What is the cause of it? And by doing so, you can keep treatment effective, you can get awesome results with treatment, like I have been able to get, and keep those results long term, because basically what I, for example, do in my program is that I teach and show the guys how to avoid those mistakes I did, because I didn't have anyone to teach me those things. I had to basically learn myself by experiencing them, right? But when I have learned them, I can share with you guys my knowledge, my experience of how to recover your own hair with growth stimulation, with addressing it with the right approach, and understanding the underlying conditions that can cause and make treatment less effective. And for you guys who actually need help and guidance in terms of hair recovery, and you struggle with the hair loss or treatment is not working for you, let's speak, let's find out what is causing a problem for you, why you're not seeing results from treatment, what you can do about it to basically make treatment much more effective. So let's talk. below. You can schedule cold blow video, there's a link for it, and find out what is holding you back and what you can do right now to recover your hair once and for all. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and see you next one.